So we're out here off of Thomas Drive here, and just seeing amazing progress with our utility contractors, FPL, our county roads and bridges, everybody coming together to really clean up out here. Homeowners working, contractors coming in. So I'm very encouraged by what I see out here today. But we've got some messages that we want to give on safety. One is we've got zero tolerance for looting. We've made 6 arrests about an hour ago. There were some individuals going through houses here off of Treasure Circle. Deputies and were able to locate them, got into a foot pursuit, and actually caught all 6 of them. We got 4 charged with burglary, 2 charged with principal to burglary. I know my friend here, State Attorney Larry Bassford, is going to charge them and prosecute them to the maximum extent of the law. But with zero tolerance for looting. We do have a curfew in place, and it's from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. From the Grand Lagoon Bridge south, and then from Hurt Street east to the state park. Now we're going to be working with the county commission to evaluate that every day. I do anticipate us having that in place tonight, even though the power companies are giving some very optimistic estimates on power return, possibly today or into early tomorrow. We do still have a lot of unsecured residences, so we want to make sure we're going to have a lot of extra resources. We've got 24 extra deputies out here in this area alone. We also want to mention the area, the Bayhead, Seminole Landing area, up off of 2301 area. We've got numerous extra deputies out there. There are power restoration efforts there, cleanup efforts there as well. So we've got resources there as well. Zero tolerance on looting. They'll be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. Unfortunately, here in Bay County, we're very versed in what happens after a natural disaster. And one thing that we saw during Hurricane Michael and other disasters around the state, and that we worked very closely with our state attorney's office on, is unlicensed contracting. There are people that will come to Bay County during this time and try to take advantage of residents. So there are ways that residents can protect themselves from unlicensed contractors, because this can cause all kinds of problems. One, it can cause problems, with the keeping up to code, with repairs down the line. It could impede the reimbursement for insurance. It could impede the resale of the home. So it's very important to make sure that anybody that's doing work on your home of a significant nature, and we've got a list here that we'll give you of what type of work we're talking about, that they are a state of Florida licensed contractor. There's ways you can check that. That's regulated by the Florida Department of Business and Professional Regulation. They have a really great app that you can get on your phone where you can check people's names to make sure they're licensed. They also have a website where you can check that. And the person ought to be able to display their Florida licensed contractor, but it's always great to double check that. So the types of work we're talking about, if you're having somebody do roofing, plumbing, electrical, load-bearing walls, windows, doors, exterior doors, garage doors, air conditioning units, that type of work, then they are required to be a licensed contractor. If it's drywall, flooring, cabinetry, and fencing, those do not require a contractor's license. During Hurricane Michael, we worked together with our state attorney, Larry Bassford, and I believe we made probably over 400 arrests for unlicensed contracting. So I'd like to turn it over to him to talk about his zero tolerance approach to that as well. But our message is our great progress is happening out here. No tolerance for looting or burglarizing or messing with people's property out here. And watch out for the unlicensed contractors, and be very cognizant of the insurance issues. We have had people, I think the legislature has done some work to tighten up on this, but we've heard about the assignment of benefits where somebody will have you come in and sign a contract where they basically say, hey, we'll deal with your insurance company. That can be potential for fraud. There's been some changes with that, but be very wary of the contracts that you may be asked to sign. Never pay for these things up front. I mean, most contractors, they'll require a deposit, but they'll also, as they complete work, will require payment. Sometimes we have seen where these unscrupulous individuals will come in and say, yeah, I need $20,000 up front, and we'll come in and do that. People never see them again. So, but State Attorney Larry Bassford's been a great partner with this. He's not going to put up with this either, and I'll turn it over to him and let him tell you about what the consequences for this is.
Good afternoon. Like many of you, I've seen the terrible damage caused by this week's storms, and it is heartbreaking. but I've also seen the teamwork with law enforcement, our first responders, and our citizens helping the victims of these damages that were caused. It's only natural to want to repair your homes and your businesses as quickly as possible, but we encourage you to use caution when choosing a contractor, as the sheriff indicated. Failure to do so could result in substandard work or individuals simply taking your money and running. Therefore, we strongly recommend that you use only licensed contractors by the state of Florida, preferably local contractors who can give you a local reference. Now, some of the things that should be red flags that should cause warning signals automatically are if a contractor insists on doing the work without a written contract. If a contractor, as the sheriff says, wants all of the money or a substantial amount of the money up front. If the contractor does not have their license displayed on the card, their business card, or the contract, that's another red flag. And if the contractor wants you to pull the business permits or the code permits, the building permits, instead of them. Those are all warning signs that you're probably dealing with someone that is not a reputable or licensed contractor. Now, as the sheriff said, it is very easy to verify that a person is or is not a licensed contractor. The app by the Department of Business and Professional Regulation, it is easy to download on your phone, and within a matter of minutes, you can know whether or not that person is licensed. And if you're having trouble doing that or getting through with the Department of Business or Professional Regulation, if you will just call the local sheriff's office, or if you'll call our office at the state attorney's office, we can look that information up and verify that for you within a matter of minutes also. As the sheriff said, we're not going to tolerate our citizens and our victims of this storm. Trucks going by. As you can see, they're working right now to clean up this damage. But we're not going to tolerate our citizens being victimized again by unscrupulous contractors. We're here to help our citizens, and together we'll get through this just like we did after Hurricane Michael. Thank you.
I'll take any questions that you got.
So when you're talking about the crime that's going on, what makes the crime even more difficult for these people that are out here and they just lost everything?
Yeah, I mean, it's disgusting that people would take advantage of people who've lost everything, and that's why we're so committed to making sure that these homes, properties, and lives are safe, and that people are not going to come in and take advantage of our citizens here in Bay County. It's just not going to happen.
Go ahead.
And as the sheriff said earlier, contracting without a license is a crime, okay? If that happens during a state of emergency, which we currently have,
We do.
that is a third-degree felony, punishable by up to 5 years in prison.
And obviously this is day one of recovery, and we're standing here having to talk about crime. This is going to be a long path to get people back their property.
Right.
How strong is the commitment from both of your agencies that you will be out here looking for these criminals day in and day out until the recovery mode is complete?
100% commitment. I think people know that by now. After Hurricane Michael, we're so ingrained in this community and a part of this community. We're just not going to ever let people come in and victimize our citizens.
How do you plan on patrolling the streets during the curfew to stop looting?
So we bring in extra deputies. I think this morning, this is normally a zone that may have two deputies in it. I think we've got 24 deputies on duty just in this small area today, and probably it's a smaller, less populated area up in Bayou George, but we've got 5 to 6 extra deputies there. That happens at night as well. We've got our partners with the Florida Highway Patrol here. We've got Panama City Beach helped us yesterday and tonight. So it's teamwork, and we're committed to keeping our citizens safe.
And as you know, there was substantial damage up in Jackson County. We will also be working with Sheriff Edenfield up there to enforce the laws and prosecute any crimes arising out of this storm damage.
And when you're talking about strength, there's a lot of people out there that they have nothing, like I said. So what's your message for them to move forward and what they can do to come to you for whatever resources there are?
Right. We've got our deputies out here, and if anybody, there's a lot of resources that are coming in, so people can feel free to ask deputies, where they can get those resources. I know our CFO Jimmy Petronas will have resources out here to help them with their insurance claims. Just had word that the World Central Kitchen is coming in. I think that's what it's called. I think they're setting up feeding stations for people. So there's going to be a lot of resources here. The county commission is committed to this. This is not our first rodeo, as they say. We learned a lot during Hurricane Michael, and we learned what it takes to recover. And like I said yesterday, if there's a more resilient community in this nation, I can't think of it. Bay County has been through a lot, but we always stay strong and bounce back, and it's because we work together.
For Tommy Ford, Sheriff Ford, I'm sorry. With people losing everything that they have out here, how do you identify looters versus people just walking the neighborhood?
Investigatively, we look to see if they have an ID that has an address on it, if their story is plausible, things like that. We're trained investigators, and we usually can get to the bottom of that kind of stuff. So, the curfew is to protect everybody. There's a lot of, has been debris on the roadway, so even residents walking around after hours, it's dangerous with the power lines down, debris in the roadway, things like that. So, by 9 o'clock, people need to be inside.
Anything else you guys can think of that we didn't ask you? Anything we didn't ask you guys that you would like to say?
No, thank you.
We appreciate your time. Thank you,
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you.